What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another podcast. Unfortunately, you guys are stuck with just me today. We are without the Eccles and the Man, unfortunately, because it's Easter weekend, and it seems like everybody here at OU and both Eccles and Irwin are going to be heading home for Easter weekend. I think Irwin may actually be heading back on Sunday. I don't really remember. But we are, unfortunately, without the Eccles and the Irwin for this podcast. And, I was I'm down about that a little bit. But, I was like, should I even do a podcast this week since it's just going to be me? But, I was like, why not? Why not? I could use to get my mind off a few things, and I could use to do something that I enjoy doing, and I really do. I love podcasting. Not as much when it's just by myself, but, I love putting out content on YouTube for you guys, and I figured, why not? Let's just do it. So, guys, I'm super thankful that you're just tuning in to this podcast, to this YouTube video, just giving me another view, and maybe even a like down below and a comment. Yeah, I'm just thankful that people would even take the time to listen to me. So, guys, thank you. Love you. Appreciate every single one of you that support me in this random stuff that I do for fun. So, appreciate you guys. But, yeah, the Easter weekend, just want to wish everybody back at home a happy Easter. We get to celebrate which should be the best holiday out there, Easter. We get to celebrate the greatest moment in history, Jesus' resurrection. After being crucified, I don't know where I'd be without Jesus, and it's just a special holiday and plenty of stuff to celebrate. So, yeah, great time to celebrate. So, yeah, happy Easter to everyone. It's Good Friday right now when I'm filming this. Sad day, Good Friday. Jesus died on the cross for all our sins, but, he raised from the dead on Sunday, so we're going to be celebrating that, and I hope all of you are back at home. But, yeah, besides all that, we're going to get right into what I got to talk about today. I really didn't have anything in particular to talk about, so I put on my Instagram story like, hey, guys, you got any questions for me? Random topics that we could talk about in the podcast, especially since I'm going to be on myself. Probably going to keep this podcast a little shorter, too. I don't want to bore you guys just listening to me talk. But yeah, let's just dive right into those questions. Got pretty good feedback on my Instagram story and got a few good questions, a few good topics, and we got plenty of stuff to talk about. So let's dive right in. I'm going to pull up the gram, the Twitter gram here. And I think we're going to kick it off strong with a Logan Brady question. Logan Brady says, is it true Jake gets no girls still? ? Great question. Great question, Brady. And I wish Eccles was here to defend himself, but I got your back, Eck. I got your back. So, part of your question is kind of like a jab, a little bit. Like, is Jake not getting any girls? And, I think it's more like this. Jake could have any girl that he wants. What a guy. What a man Jake Eccles is. He could have any girl he wants. Thing is, Eck might just not want a girl right now, Eck's just doing his thing. He's loving his life. So, yeah, he may not have, he ain't locking it down with one girl yet, but, maybe he's just waiting for the one. I'll let Eck speak for himself there. But, Eck's a man. Eck's a beast. All the girls want him. That's all I got to say about that, Brady. And on that topic, we have to have, I was going to mention this at some point, and I know Champagne and Brady, I haven't told you this yet, or just all the sophomores, but I want to have you guys on the podcast, especially this summer if I continue doing the podcast at the house. Got to have Champagne on here, maybe even Brady, Perrin, Kirsch, whoever. We got to talk about some football memories. Definitely got to have Champagne on here, him being one of my best buddies, and he played safety while I played corner, so we have a lot of great memories out in the football field together. So if you guys want to see Champagne and them boys on the podcast, let me know down in the comments, and yeah, that's definitely gotta happen. So let's move on to another question here. Oh, Bo, my boy Bo, are you actually listening to my podcast, Bo? What a beast. Miss you, bro. It's been a minute. How was your football? Maybe tell me in the comments. I don't know. You're playing football this year, right? But Bo said he just wants me to talk about the Fiends Y-ball experience, and he wants me to deep dive into it. And I don't know if I'll do a deep dive into it today. We definitely need to do an entire podcast on Fiend's Y-ball just memories because, oh my gosh, we have one of the greatest stories of all time that needs to be on the podcast, which came out of Y-ball. If you guys didn't know, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Y-ball, a lot of us decided not to play high school basketball anymore after our sophomore years. So we played in the Y basketball league, the YMCA basketball league, and we had a team. And we had tons of fun. We smoked a lot of teams, and then we ended up choking in the playoffs, I think 2 years in a row. But that's besides the point. We had some amazing memories, had tons of fun. We have so many stories to tell. But the main story that pops into my head when I think about Y-ball is the fight. You know, we were getting after it on the court. And, I mean, I'll let Sturmy, okay, so the team was like me, Irwin. I'm going to forget some people, but it was like Miller, Jake, Nick, Sturmy, and Denny, and Brody, and all kinds of guys. All those guys. All a bunch of goons, So Sturmy is getting into it. I'll just give the quick condensed version because we got to talk about this on another podcast. But Sturmy's getting into it with the kid. And, we had Holball on the team. And that's part of the story. But we're playing some green kids. Sturmy's getting into it with the kid. They're getting after it all game, pushing each other, shoving each other, yapping at each other. And we're talking so much smack out in the court. It's Y-ball. Like, why not have fun? We're trash talking. And at the end of the game, this kid blows a layup. And then Sturmy's telling him about it the whole way down the court. He's like, I don't remember exactly what he's saying, but he's pretty much saying, you missed a wide open layup. You're so bad. But then the kid just comes up and like starts swinging on Sturmy, like full out, like swinging, punching. And I'm like, holy crap. And this is like mid game. Like, so obviously we all stopped. They're like swinging, and we all like are going over to like try to separate them or something. Then this one kid from green comes up and socks Sturmy in the side of the face, and I'm like, holy! But then my juices are flowing. Then I'm like, gosh dang, like we're fighting, baby. So this kid socks Sturmy, and I'm like, nah, you ain't socking my boy like that. I got your back, Sturm. So while Sturmy's fighting this other kid, this one kid comes up, socks him in the face. So I'm going over, I'm squaring up. Next thing I know, I'm squared up with the kid. Who just socked Sturmy in the face. And then he tried coming after me. Meanwhile, Sturmy and this kid are like, whoa, whoa. And this kid tries coming after me. And I'm like, I ain't really trying to throw any punches. Like, I ain't trying to hurt nobody. But he comes after me. And I can't remember anything besides the fact that the next thing I know, I got this kid on the ground in a headlock on the floor. Like, full on, like, his head between my armpit, just, like, locking it. And I'm just kind of like trying to, even though it sounds kind of like brutal, I guess, headlocking this kid, like choking him. I wasn't really choking him. I was just headlocking him. And I was more trying to diffuse the situation. Like this kid was throwing punches. So I headlocked him on the floor. That way he couldn't throw any more punches. So I'm trying to diffuse the situation down here by having this kid in a headlock. Meanwhile, Irwin is getting after it with this little kid, and they're like swinging at each other. And Irwin's not trying to like really like lay any like crazy ones on him or nothing. But then like the ref starts yelling at Irwin, and Irwin practically squares up with the ref, and it was like, so yeah. And then Sturmy's mom was there. Sturmy's mom's coming out the stands getting, Jacob, you better, trying to get him off. So overall, long story short, we got in a fight in a Y-ball game, and then we had to face the repercussions. The Y-ball league sent us an email the following day and said that me, Sturmy, and Irwin are all suspended for the rest of the year. Or not the rest of the year, for the next game, I think. And it was a playoff game. And we were like, oh, we're going to get beat. Like, I don't know. We just weren't feeling it after the fight. I mean, we weren't feeling like playing basketball. We were feeling like fighting. So we knew it wouldn't be a good thing to go to the next game. Three of us had the suspension. So we just went and got Quaker State. We went to wing night instead. During our game time, we went and ate wings with the boys, which that is such a good memory. Such a good memory. I don't have too many fight stories, but that's a fun one for me to reflect on. So, Bo, thank you so much for bringing that up. What a great story. We have to do a whole podcast with Sturmy, probably even with Nick. Oh my gosh, he would be hilarious to listen to tell that story. We need to do a whole podcast on Y-ball alone. But next topic. Dylan Walls asked me, have you thought of joining OU's Ultimate Frisbee team? I'd love to face you, he said. So yeah, Dylan, I know you're probably balling on Miami of Ohio University's Frisbee team. Man, I love Frisbee, Dylan. I'm not going to lie. I thought about joining the OU's Frisbee team. I'm not going to lie, just because I love it so much. But it's actually kind of a big commitment. I'm pretty sure they practice like all the time. And I really just don't have that much. If I really wanted to, devote that much time to a sport, I probably would have played football in college. So, because they literally practice like every day. So I'm not ready to make that type of commitment by any means to just Ultimate Frisbee. But, I do play Ultimate Frisbee with just my buddies through Crew. We play every Thursday around 4:30, and we have tons of fun just playing Ultimate Frisbee. So if you guys don't know what Ultimate Frisbee is, it's kind of like football with a Frisbee, but once you catch it, like you can't move, you have to throw it to another person. So I don't know if that was a good description or not, but yeah, Ultimate Frisbee, tons of fun. I'm sure you're absolutely insane at that, Dylan, considering you can jump and run and catch. So that's pretty much all you need to play Frisbee. Whole ball. Greatest poker moment. Oh my gosh. I guess for this, I would have to split, like, maybe I'll give you my best poker night that I did well and my best just poker memory. And I guess I'll start with my best poker memory it wasn't really me that it happened to. But we were at my house, we were in the basement, we're playing, and we weren't even playing poker at this point. We were playing AC Deucey. And I don't know, most of you probably don't know what AC Deucey is. All my friends know what AC Deucey is for sure. But yeah, there was a pot in the middle. I don't even remember how AC Deucey even works off the top of my head. Oh yeah, it's like you get like a 2 and like a king, and like if the next card is, I don't know, you'll flip over 3 cards. I'm pretty sure this is how it works. I can't remember. Flip over one card. Say it's a 6. Then you flip up another card. It's a queen. Then the next card that gets flipped over, you want that card to be between the 6 and the queen. So if it was a jack or a 10 or a 7 or an 8 or a 9, like, you win. But if it was a 2 or a 3 or a king or an ace, you lose. So you can bet like $1. You can bet $1 that it's going to be in between, or you can say you don't want it. You don't want to see the next card. If it's bad odds, you don't want to take the next card. If it's good odds, like you got the 10 and the king, you're probably going to bet it. But you can bet, the max that you can bet is how much is in the pot in the middle. So the pot continues to grow as people miss their bets. So one time, the pot was huge. I think it was up to it was around maybe $100 even. Like it was getting close to 100, man. And that's a huge pot. And we got like 10, 15 dudes around my poker table, or around our pool table in the basement. And then this we're playing AC Deuce, obviously. And then Joe Evans, I'm pretty sure, gets a 2 and a king, and with a $100 pot in the middle, something like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's gonna pot it, and he's gonna call pot, and he's gonna take all $100. Like, this dude's got insane odds. I don't even know what the odds are, like 13 and 4. I don't even know, but he's got insane odds. And Joe, being smart, didn't call pot, and luckily he didn't. But he still made a ridiculously large bet. But who wouldn't even have called pot right there? So he makes a $50 bet, just in case he doesn't win. He doesn't have to lose 100, because if you lose and you bet the pot, you have to match what's in the pot. So if Joe would have bet, Joe bet 50 something dollars, maybe even more, I can't remember, but another king flips over as the third card. So it can't be, if it's not in between them, or if it's not in between them, you lose. So it can be below it, or like on the edges of it, or it could be the 2 or the king. So like the only 3 cards that he could have lost to were the 2, the king, and the ace. And the king flips out, and poor Joe, man, had to put $50 in the pot, and we were going crazy. Because when you're playing AC Deucey, you want the pot to stay big so you have a chance of winning the pot. So like when Joe got those insane odds, we were all disappointed, like Joe's going to take all the money out of the pot, like dang it, like I'm not going to win. But then Joe lost and more money was going in the pot, and we were freaking out, like we were going crazy. But then eventually it went back around to Mason Champagne, and Mason got some insane odds, and my boy calls like pot on like 100 like something dollars, and wins, and he wins, and it was. So Mason walked home with over $100 from AC Deucey that night, which was crazy. One of the greatest poker moments. I mean, so many poker moments, even though we weren't playing poker right there, but just so many great moments playing cards with the boys. My best poker night was at the Enclave, the Enclave Clubhouse, which is. The Enclave is a neighborhood by where I live, and they have like a pool house, and we all went over there one night to the pool house to play cards, and I was hitting cards that night. I was getting so lucky, but I mean, I was playing pretty good too. For once in my life, I was actually playing pretty good, but I was hitting like crazy hands. Like I hit like 4 of a kind that night. I probably hit multiple full houses. I hit flushes and stuff, and it was crazy. But I only walked away. I think I walked away with close to like $70 that night off of a $10 buy-in, which is really good for me at least. That was definitely my best night of poker ever. But the funniest part about that night was I was doing so good, and everyone was getting mad at me because I was getting ridiculous hands. And every time I would like bet money or I would win a hand, they'd start chanting douche at me. They were all calling me a douche, and they were chanting it. I mean, and it was all jokes. It was all jokes, all fun. We were just, because they were getting mad that I was winning, and it was just kind of funny that they were chanting douche at me that night. But good times playing poker. We definitely got to do that again this summer. And then Holball also said Denny's experience before the cruise. So yeah, if you guys don't know, me and Holball are super close, and our families are super close, like pretty much like family. So we go on vacations together a lot too, and we went on a cruise. But before we went on a cruise, we stayed at like a little hotel motel. I don't know, it was definitely a little shady, kind of by where the cruise was going to take off that next morning. So we stayed the night there, and we were hungry, so we went to this Denny's that was across the street, and we were definitely in like a shady area, I'm not gonna lie, because it was more affordable, a little cheap. Like we're just need a little place to stay before we get on the cruise. So we go to this Denny's, and I mean, I don't remember all that much about. There isn't some like crazy story, I guess, but man, we were at that Denny's for hours just waiting on our food. And by the time we got our food, I mean, it wasn't even good food, but we were so hungry because we waited there for hours waiting for food that it was like the best food you ever had, I mean, it wasn't even good, but it was so good because you felt like you were starving. And our waitress was crazy old lady. And yeah, that was just that was crazy. So many good memories on vacation with the Holballs. And we're going this summer again, so I'm hyped about that. And, of course, Jackson Holball, he said poker. We got to do a whole podcast on poker. I was thinking that we could do segments with different people. You know how I do, Irwin's got the Zoom call. We can either do Zoom call, or this summer when I'm doing the podcast at the house, we can have people over. But I was thinking we could do individual sections. So I'll interview one person for like 10 minutes, and then another for like 5, another, and then another, and another. And each person will just have like their greatest poker memory, greatest poker story, and we'll just talk poker for a whole I don't know, whatever hour that we do the podcast. But it's not even about the poker. It's just about the crazy memories and moments that we shared together as just friends. It was just ridiculous, and it was crazy, and it was fun. But yeah, we'll do a whole podcast on poker. And if you guys want to be a part of that podcast on the poker, if you think you got a great story, let me know, and we can get you on. But all right, let's keep moving on. Okay, Landon said, how do you stay out of trouble in college? Some people need to know how. Yeah, that is true. Some people do not need to know how. It's not too difficult for me. I'm not much of a partier, not much of a, uh, rule breaker when it comes to doing just crazy stuff at college. So for me, it isn't too hard. I'm involved with a Christian community here on college, so I'm trying to be, an upstanding guy. I'm trying to live in a way that I think is right, I guess. So it's not too hard to stay out of trouble. I know a lot of people enjoy their alcohol. I mean, nothing too bad about that by any means. Nothing wrong with that if you're doing it in regulation. I mean, you're supposed to be legal, of course, too, of age. But nothing. I don't know. As long as you're not taking anything to an extreme, you're gonna be fine. Everything in moderation, you will be fine. Everything in moderation. Use your head. That's all I got to say about staying out of trouble. But college is fun. You're going to get in trouble every once in a while. I mean, I'm not going to lie, me and my buddies, we had some fun last night. I mean, we weren't doing anything crazy, but we maybe explore some places we shouldn't explore around campus, but we have a good time. Just be smart. So, next question. Okay, this is from Brooke. Brooke goes to college with me here. She knows me and Jake. She went to Jackson. She said, what's your favorite part of living with your high school best friend? So, yeah, great question, Brooke. I don't really know. Let me think about that real quick. What is my favorite part about living with Jake Eccles on a daily basis? I don't know. You guys all know I love Jake to death. Absolutely one of my best friends and just an amazing guy. I mean, we have so much fun together just talking and talking life, talking sports, and just hanging out, getting meals together every once in a while. But I'd say and I think Jake would agree with this, one of the best parts about rooming with Jake is that I don't have to worry about a thing Jake does. And you may not understand what I mean by that. So many people have roommates that they just don't get along with, Their roommates just annoy the crap out of them. And I don't have to worry about that because I love Jake. He does nothing. He does nothing that I don't know, some people have just little their roommate will do little things that just drives them crazy. And Jake does nothing like that. And I think that's partially, he would say the same thing about me for the most part, but I think that a lot of that has to do with just both of our personalities are so similar, as in we're both just chill. And we're just both trying to enjoy life, love life. We take it day by day, and we appreciate each other and we appreciate life. So, and we're pretty tidy. I mean, we keep the room pretty neat. We both like the air conditioning on at all times for the most part. We like it cool at night, pitch black in the room. So we have a lot of similarities, which makes it, really easy to get along with Jake. So I guess to answer your question, Brooke, the best part about rooming with Jake is that I don't have to worry about anything because Jake is the perfect roommate. So let's keep moving on. Evan Brady. Oh, we got both of the Brady brothers commenting on the Instagram story. I like it. So Brady's question is, how did I get into fishing and why do I enjoy it so much? Great question, Evan. So the way I got into fishing, we kind of talked about this on I think the first podcast near the end, but got into fishing during quarantine. The first COVID scare, we were home, we were out of school, pretty much we were doing online school, so we had nothing to do, and we couldn't go out to restaurants or go do the normal stuff that we did because everything was in lockdown. So me, Jake, and Caleb, and occasionally other people, of course, got into fishing. And Jake and Caleb were both into fishing before I was, but we had nothing to do, so I was like, let's go fishing. And man, I just loved it. We would go fishing it seemed like every day over that quarantine period, and I just absolutely loved every second of it. And I guess, so that's how I got into fishing, and pretty much Jake taught me everything that I needed to know to start fishing, and I watch so much fishing YouTube videos, it's probably unhealthy, I guess. I don't watch as much anymore, but I love watching fishing YouTubers, so I've learned so much from watching that, and it just sparks my interest, I guess. I love fishing. But one of the reasons I love fishing, and people that don't understand fishing the way I understand it, think you're just taking a bobber, putting on a worm and just tossing it out there and just sitting there and waiting for something to bite. But that is not fishing by any means, at least bass fishing for me. I love bass fishing because there's so much strategy and tactic that goes and thought process that goes into bass fishing because there's so many different elements of it. Like bass could be, it all depends on the season that you're in. Like in the springtime, bass are starting to move up shallow. They're starting to do bedding. And then in the fall, they're like feed. I don't know. There's just so much that goes into fishing. You can pick so many different lures, the weather. With I need a second. I need a second for water here. Sorry about that. All right, yeah. Sorry about that. Kind of lost my train of thought because some guy started really staring into my soul, and I was really thirsty. But yeah, I love fishing because there's so much strategy and tactic that goes into it. You use different lures for different purposes. So say I love throwing the chatterbait. Chatterbait is a moving bait that runs through the water and it makes a lot of noise and chatter. But sometimes you don't want all that chatter, and sometimes you want something that's real slow moving and you just dragging along like a Texas rig worm or something like that. And it all depends on the mood the fish are in, the season of fishing that you're in. So like bed fishing, bass are very finicky. You can't just throw anything at the bass while it's sitting on its bed, and you got to make it bite. You got to get the right thing, maybe like a lizard or a worm or something like that, like a plastic worm. But then, like in the fall time when bass are feeding and they're feeding on shad and things like that, you want to throw something that imitates that. So, long story short, there's just so much strategy that goes into fishing, and I love every single bit of it. I would love to talk about that if you guys like listening to me talk about fishing and stuff and want to know more about that. But yeah, I just love the strategy and tactic that goes into it. So while we're on the topic of fishing, my boy TJ, who goes to OU with us, he said, talk about the spring bass movement. So I guess I may have alluded to that for a second, but in the spring, the bass are starting to move up shallow. They're coming out of that winter. They're hibernating all winter. They're just kind of, suspending, relaxing, trying to just relax all winter. They don't want to have to be chasing around food. They're trying to survive the cold. So they're just relaxing. But as spring comes around, they're starting to move up and push onto beds. And they're laying their eggs and things like that. They're mating. They're doing all that. They're doing the dirty, They're laying their eggs on the beds. So I'm excited that these bass are pushing up shallow, and I think that's where they're gonna be. And I'm going fishing tomorrow actually with two of my buddies on my buddy's property. So I can't wait to see if these bass are bedding yet. I think in the next week or two, bass will really start bedding here in southern and northern Ohio. Maybe they are already. I don't know. But definitely in northern Ohio, back where I'm from, I think they'll be bedding in about a week or two for sure. But yeah, I'm excited about that spring bass movement. All right, next question. Mrs. Evans, you're too nice. I can't answer that on the podcast. I mean, I guess the only thing I'd say, Jesus, for sure. For sure. But yeah, you're so nice. Miss you, Mrs. Evans. Let's get another question here. Okay, John Ramito said, Indians, talk about the Indians' name change. Will they lose older fans, he wonders, and he says he may switch to the Reds. Yeah, that is a great podcast topic conversation. I'm not a huge baseball guy. I wish I followed more. I got a buddy down here who loves baseball, and he's actually going over to the home opener tonight. I think the Indians are 4-2. They're on a 4-game winning streak. Oh, they're not even the Indians anymore. My bad. The Guardians are 4-2 on a 4-game win streak. And yeah, I do think oh man, that is loud out there. Well, I guess what I'm saying is I'm not a big fan of the name change. I understand we don't want to disrespect anybody, racially especially, but I didn't really think it was that offensive. I don't know. Maybe I'm not an Indian, But I'm not a fan of the name change by any means. In the Guardians, I mean, not like the Guardians. I was like, oh yeah, I really like the Guardians. That's a great name. Like, I don't really know what the Guardian. Why are we the Guardians? I have no clue what we're guarding. But yeah, I agree. Maybe we will lose some older fans. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, because the older people, they want to cheer for their Cleveland Indians, and they don't like change. And changing that name just feels like they're stealing their team away, even though it's technically the same team. But yeah, I don't think people are gonna love that. I think it's gonna make them lose a little bit of interest in the sport. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of the name change. I wish they didn't do that. And if you switch to the Reds, I mean, by all means, Ohio, go Ohio teams for sure. I don't know. I'm not a huge baseball guy. But yeah, good question for sure. And my boy Joe Evans said, how's the cornhole game? So, yeah, my cornhole game, Joe, my cornhole game is always nice. I'm always nice. They actually have a tournament coming up soon, like a Federal League cornhole tournament with Lake, Green, North Can, Hoover, Perry, everybody, Jackson. And Slick Woody's is putting it on. And I wish I was still in high school because, I'd be competing in that cornhole tournament for Lake. But, yeah, my cornhole game is solid as ever. I'm ready for summer. At Country Fest and the country concerts this summer, I'm just going to be tossing them bags while we're waiting for the concert, while we're, partying in the parking lot. I'm going to be tossing them bags. I'm going to be four-bagging. So, Joe, stay ready. Maybe we'll partner up this summer and, take some money, steal some dreams, and four-bag on some people. But yeah, love some cornhole. Shout out Mr. Wood for teaching me how to play cornhole for sure. But did we cover all of the questions? I think we did. Wait, Ty just shared me something. Oh, but let's watch this video real quick. That's funny. Yeah. Ty just sent me a video that said, imagine playing in the NFL with your brother. And I just watched a video, and it was pretty funny. So thanks, Ty, for sending me that. But yeah, that would be crazy. I mean, that's kind of how it felt when we were playing out in the field together, That was just such a surreal experience playing with your brother out in the field. And man, that was fun. But, yep, guys, thank you so much for leaving all those questions, leaving all those podcast topic ideas for me to talk about. I've been talking for a good 33 minutes here, so 32. So, yeah, I'm going to try to wrap up the podcast soon, but I just wanted to address, I guess, some of the things that we got coming up this summer. I've talked about it. I've hinted at it plenty. We got these racing videos coming this summer. And, guys, it's going to be awesome because we're going to start in the garage. I'm going to take you through the entire day, us getting the cars ready in the garage, us grinding on Saturday mornings, just working on the cars, trying to get everything perfect and just right. And then we're going to load up the cars. I'm going to take you on the load. And then we're going to take you on the drive to the track. And then once we get to the track, I'm going to take you to the pill draw table. And we're going to pull our pill and see where we start in the heat race. And then we're going to talk like, what are our goals tonight? What are we trying to do? And we're going to talk, we're going to laugh, we're going to mess around, we're going to have a great time, just with my grandpa and Bob Winker and just everybody there. We're going to have a great time. And we're going to race the heat race. And of course, we're going to be game planning before the feature, be like, what do we got to do? What do we got to do? What do we got to change to the car to make it better? How are we going to win this race tonight? And, I want to take you guys all on that journey. You're going to get to see what changes we make to the car, see our post-race conversations, and then of course you're going to see the live race footage from the GoPro inside of the car. And those feature races are going to be something to watch. They're going to be tons of fun, and I'm really hoping that we can get some wins this year, and it's going to be tons of fun. So racing videos every week. We race every Saturday, so that's going to be tons of fun to take you guys on that journey with me. Racing. Beyond the racing, we have the boat project that we're looking forward to this summer. And this is a sweet 15-footer boat that's from Caleb's grandpa. And I think me, Jake, and Caleb are going to try our best to fix this boat up and take you guys along the process and the adventure of rebuilding this boat. We have no idea We have no idea what we're doing on this boat by any means. Like, that's what's going to be fun about it. Like, it's just going to be three, average dudes just trying to figure out how to rebuild a boat. and it's going to be fun. We're going to make mistakes, but we're going to learn through the mistakes and, just have a great time. So I'm excited. I don't know why this random guy keeps looking in at me, but it's just a little weird, a little creepy. All right, what else we got? And then, of course, fishing videos this summer, just random videos. Oh, and one video I want to talk about, video idea. If this podcast gets, I don't know, like 50 likes, that would be sweet. And 50 likes for me to buy an inflatable kayak off of Amazon for I think the cheapest one is like $100. I will take it in the Hocking River that flows around Ohio University, that flows around the campus here. I want to buy a kayak, inflatable kayak, get in it around campus, and float down the river and fish out of it. And, I don't know, there's a good chance it might even pop, and I might be going down with my ship in the Hocking River, but, it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great video. Going to have tons of fun, so be on the lookout for that video. Got to make sure we're smashing that like button, getting us up to 50 likes. That way we can do that video. But, guys, I don't really have much else to say besides, thank you. If you watch the whole podcast, I really do just appreciate you guys. I love doing this. One reason I want to do YouTube and just make YouTube videos isn't because I want to become famous or nothing like that. I mean, obviously, that would be sweet, turn this into a career, but that's, more of a long shot. I'll give it my best go. But the reason I just love doing YouTube is, obviously I love doing the videos, but one thing I had a realization just this week, going through some stuff, just battling some tough times, and I just learned, I was watching my YouTube guys like I always do, and I was like, man, these guys just really lift my spirits, I just get to go on these journeys with them and have fun just watching the YouTube video. And I love listening to podcasts of some of my favorite people and just I feel like I'm having a great conversation. So, YouTube, I've seen how in my life it lifts my spirits in some ways, especially when I'm going through something tough. So I want nothing more than to create some content for you guys that just lifts your spirits, that just lets you have a fun time, even though you're not there with me. But then maybe watching this podcast, it makes you feel like, you're here just having a real conversation, with the boys, just something that I just want to make people happy. I want to try to entertain people. And what a better way than for me to do that just by, podcasting, making YouTube videos, taking you guys on journeys and, talking with you. This is you guys' channel too. I want to do what you guys want to see. I want to take you guys where you want to go. And yeah, I'm just excited about the journey that's coming ahead this summer with YouTube and just everything we got going on. It's going to be a great time. So yeah, guys, I just love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Want to entertain you, want to lift your spirits, and I guess get down in that comment section. Let me know what you want to see on future podcasts. We got 2 more weeks here at OU, and honestly, I'll probably be gone. So maybe only 1 more podcast here at OU, and I'm gonna be podcasting at home this summer. So guys, it's gonna be great. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you want to talk about, what you want to hear, and just love you guys. Appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you all on the next video. Carson Miller, we out.